Good Friday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. The weekend is here. Aren't y'all happy? As I look up, Barry Van Devon are watching us from Palestine, Texas this morning. I've been there. 5, 6, 7 years ago. I can remember being there. Busy little part of Texas. Be careful there, my friend. As we're waking up, as we join everybody from all parts of the United States, welcome. Glad to have you here. 20% chance of rain today is what we'll get. It'll be late in the afternoon, say 3 o'clock or so in that afternoon as we've been getting those. But 20% not that big of a chance. Could get a little sprinkle. Not looking bad at all. 72 right now as we'll get to high of about roughly 93. But the heat index, although it's higher, does not warrant an advisory. We're looking at about 99 today. Even the west part of the state is not included in that. As we go to radar this morning, let me pull this up. Let me find this so we can take a look here just how far away all of this heat dome is from us. And fortunately, it is out to the west. Barry, you've got it in Texas, though. As we look at this is what we're looking at Mississippi. Pretty clear at the point. Jackson, Tennessee getting a lot of rain. As you'll look out to our west, a good portion of Texas here from Abilene up through Dallas, Denton, Sherman, these areas here. Norman, Oklahoma, all have this up to Tulsa there, that heat advisory today. Again, this area here, 99 or 100 degrees less. They don't even bother firing off one of those right now if you've got that. But if you look at the southwest corner of Mississippi, as we look at Baton Rouge area and Alexandria, Louisiana, all of those areas there, heavy fog this morning. So if you're going to be anywhere around Macomb, Purvis to Hattiesburg, those areas, expect some to creep into the area later. It usually does. We do have some showers to the south here of Port Arthur, out in the Gulf. Look for those to come in. But again, our area, central Mississippi, expect this after 3 o'clock this afternoon. Nothing major. So that's a good sign of that. Now, if you're just waking up, I posted this just a few moments ago. And let me just show you this. I'm not going to play it on here. I want you to go there to look at it yourself. As often, I get reports of, hey, there's a fight down at such and such. Police were called. Well, police get there and everybody's gone. Or there was a huge one last week on 8th Street. And it was a bunch of women got into it inside a store. Police were dispatched. It was said before they got there that a gun was there. Well, they get there and no one's got a gun, no arrests were made, and it was all gone. But this was captured yesterday afternoon. And I pull this up. I want you to go to our Facebook page, Scotty Ray Report, where you are. This will be the second item of where I'm live. After we get off, I want you to watch this video. It will show you what really goes on, and there is a gun there. Now, it was never fired, but a woman was literally whooped by 3 other women in Meridian, Mississippi. North Frontage Road is where it happened. And it was bad. I don't know what happened after police arrived. We'll try to get an answer out of that if any charges were filed. But that was a pretty bad thing to sit there and watch. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, why didn't everybody inside the restaurant jump in? They had guns, is why. It's kind of hard to go up against people that are holding a pistol. And that's what was going on the outside, and that's why police were called. A lot of times people interact with someone that's got this, and they're hot-headed, and it leads to bad things. But it's just to show you the things that go on that sometimes do not reach the general public of what goes on behind the scenes in our area. This is a look into that, of what reality really is on the streets. I want you to watch that because it should shake you up. Now, do we know what caused this argument? We absolutely do not. Could have been over anything. But the fact is, it still happened. She was whooped. There's no other way to word it, while one stood there with a pistol. Check that out this morning. I want you to watch that. As we start looking around with stories this morning that shape our area, I have to say, let me find this. Let me find the, I want to say that a boy to the Meridian Police Department. They did stop someone last night that was doing something they shouldn't. As we go here to pull up this map, here's North Hill Street. We look here. Officers were called straight down 10th Avenue to about right in here. That little location there. This is a construction site. Well, what's special about that? Well, it makes it special when somebody backs up with a U-Haul that takes things that weren't theirs, filled it up with supplies that they were doing to build something. Police arrived, they weren't there, and they went to look at they caught the suspects and made an arrest. And I want to say congratulations to them and a thank you. Some of the things that go on behind the scenes that maybe not everybody knows about, that was stopped. Not right to take things that weren't yours, and well, thank heavens they were stopped on that. And they'll have to pay the consequences of what went on like that. I get reports of this a lot of times as the evening hours go. We don't know whether it's involved with drinking or driving. I'm not sure if they ever were caught, but I know the people call the police, and that's a good thing always if you see anything like this. But how many times, and there was no wreck, thank heavens, is it reported or somebody texts me and said, hey, I just contacted police and I saw a car going in the wrong direction on the highway on a 4-lane. Dangerous. It takes your heart. It makes it skip a beat. That was the scene last night here on Highway 19. Someone reported someone going in the wrong direction right along in here. Again, at the end of the day, I don't think it was a wreck, but a scary situation for somebody that witnessed that. As always, call police immediately. Do what you can for oncoming traffic to let them know what's going on. Scary. But fortunately, that one ended okay. There have been other times that it didn't end that way. We go to our west from here. We go over to Smith County, and this could have been really bad yesterday afternoon. But thank heavens it was no worse than it was as we pull up this to take a look here. An accident on Highway 35. It was about a mile just north of Raleigh here on 35. An oversized load clipped an 18-wheeler hauling fuel. Now, the odds of that not sparking and causing an explosion was extremely rare. There was fuel everywhere. They may still be cleaning up over there. I'm not sure. But serious situation there that could have turned even worse than it was. Thank heavens it was not. But it was a scary situation. And again, it's a 2-lane road as you're coming into Raleigh there. So that shut down traffic for quite a while as officials cleaned up, got those out of there. And, of course, anything could have sparked that. Thank heavens nothing happened on that. That was yesterday afternoon at 5:30 or so. And I have to say a big thank you to everyone. I made this post, and I'd gotten word from someone that this pup was not going to make it. You have a limited time, I guess the best way if they're not rescued, at a shelter. They take them in, and they stay there a few months, and if they're not, well, it's a sad ending. And this was going to be the case here for this little pup named Sonny, who was less than a year old. He had been there 7 months, and his time had come to an end. Next week was it. He would walk down and never come back, so to speak. But we put this out, and within 15 minutes, this pup was adopted and now has a home. And I just want to say thank you. I'm very partial to pets. And what everybody described this dog to me at the animal shelter, how good-natured he was. I just want to say thank you for whoever it was that did do that took him home and gave him a home. Thank you. I appreciate that. Always help when you can. Now, I've seen this. You have most likely seen this, and this happened again. The last time this went on in Meridian at this intersection, they were told, don't come back, don't do this, it's illegal. They said they were from a church, not from the Meridian area. I want to say they claimed they were from the Moss Point area. So that sent up red flags of, if you're from Moss Point, why are you here in Meridian? They agreed that they wouldn't be there and left. Well, they came back yesterday. Let me show you pictures here. This was at lunchtime yesterday, Highway 39. They were collecting money at the intersection. It was about 4 individuals each way. They were collecting money at windows. You can't do that in the city limits of Meridian. Now, I've seen it done in small towns with fire departments for fundraisers, but public officials let you know that. City of Meridian does not authorize this. So if you see this, and I did have one lady say that she asked them about it, and they said they'd gotten permission. They sort of fibbed on that. So if you encounter this, don't give money. Something is not adding up. Don't know the details of what went on later, but police were called and notified of what was going on there. Hopefully they won't be back. But if you encounter that, don't be fooled. It's not the truth of what they're telling you. As we look around other parts of this, as we head to Lowndes County, they had a warrant for someone. Might have been involved with a murder. There was a suspect. A chase happened. They did catch them after they were wrecked. Things like that happen all over the state of Mississippi. That's just north of our area there. I always want to run. Here's something that could put America in a bad mood. And I know we got some plants in Jackson, Mississippi that make this stuff, and I am not an expert at it at all. So I don't drink. I don't know much about it, of how it's made. But this could turn out to be a shortage of beer. And I know a lot of Americans love it. But as we look to this, carbon dioxide, it's a shortage of it, and it's used to make beer. And they're saying that it's possibly going to affect the supply chain in America for lack of this. That can make a lot of people grumpy that like it. Just letting y'all know ahead of time, could be some bad moods before long. Nothing's happened yet, but always a chance of this is what they're telling us. We don't need anything else interrupted from car. You can't even get a tractor part hardly. Any part that you're looking for, and it goes back to the same old thing. Why is nothing made in America? We all want it back. Starkville police arrested a teen. It's sad, but this is where all this starts. We don't know if it's gang related, but we do know that it's a teen that was arrested for robbery. 17 years old, they start recruiting early, teaching kids to do wrong. He's been arrested. Hopefully it'll turn his life around. Sometimes it doesn't. I've just seen so much of that, and y'all know where I'm going from that, of the increase of crime. It does start early. They try to get kids as early as they can in school to start running with the crowds that do that, teaching them. And by the time they're 18 or 19, they're professionals at it. It looks good for Mississippi on this next subject here. And this goes back to Louisville, a company there. As we look over at Taylor America Group, they're merging or starting another company, and I might pronounce this wrong, Terberg. They're going to be making tractor parts. It's going to bring 90 jobs to the state of Mississippi. They're going to be making tractors. That's good. Always makes me proud that a company that's based out of Mississippi expands and go into business to bring jobs to other folks. That's great. Wish we had more of that, don't y'all? I'm sure we do. Byram, Mississippi, which is just west of Jackson. I did a job there 5 years or so ago over near Stars, where I was going back and forth, and I was in the Byram area a lot. Crime is increasingly getting worse in the Byram area. As the headline this morning reads, 3 arrested after a woman was robbed, shot at, and dragged across a parking lot at an apartment complex. These stories aren't far off anymore. They're close to home for us. She's okay. Wasn't good. Speaking of grumpy people, this could really get people in a bad mood because you get in a routine every morning of things that you like on your way to work, don't we? We're all guilty of that. You have a certain place that you stop, get a drink. Maybe you don't, whatever it is. Maybe you want a biscuit. We go to Oxford, Mississippi. The ending result will be good, but it could make you grumpy for a little while as they're shutting down the Chick-fil-A for about 10 weeks. 10 weeks you'll have to go without it. They're completely gutting it and redoing the store, and for 10 weeks you'll have to do without those little miniature biscuits there. Not good. We'll keep you all in your thoughts up in the Oxford, Mississippi area there. This is one of those good stories that we read. We go to Gulfport, Mississippi, a part of our state, down on the coastline there. A lady had gone to the vet. We've often, as we were talking about puppy dogs just a moment ago, they're near and dear to our heart. Her puppy dog had a condition that had to have a little surgery. She goes into the vet, and one of my dogs had to have it one time. You know the cones that you put on their heads? They don't like it, do they? Well, the dog was whining, so she pulled over on the side of the road to check on him, and she gets out of her driver's seat and walks around the car to check on the dog. Somebody jumped in her car and drove off. Her car and her dog. And at that point, she could care less about the car. It would be about 45 minutes later they did recover the car, but the pup was gone. In the end, it is a good story. A lot of times it doesn't end this way. It'd be 2 to 3 days later, a few blocks from there, the dog was thrown out. Somebody found it laying on their front porch, hungry, scared. She was reunited with her dog. A good story, a good ending there. Just be careful. And in a situation like that, you're not thinking about who's watching you. You're worried about your pet or whatever's going on in your car. It could have been a child that was crying, and you get out to walk around to check on the other side. And somebody walks up, instantly takes your car. Be on your P's and Q's. That ended good. Also, as I look at this is just kind of like the dog days of summer, I guess, as I look at stories this morning. Biloxi, lightning struck an apartment complex yesterday, caught on fire. Firemen ran in. All the folks were out except the pup. And the fire department was able to save the dog. Made my day. Sometimes there's good stories. Y'all remember that group, Lady, well, I can't say Antebellum anymore. They didn't like that. They changed their name to A. They're canceling their tour for the rest of the year. Why? One of them has an issue and is going to treatment. I think it deals with alcoholism, so they're going to shut down the tour as one of them gets help there. Kevin Spacey, do y'all remember him? He was accused of a lot of things, of sexual misconduct. He was in that big show, House of Cards. He was immediately fired after all that came to light. And you don't hear of this happening very often, but that's the headline this morning as I look at this. The movie or the television show, the production staff are suing him for loss of wages due to him doing what he did. They're suing him for $30 million. Usually it's the other way around to where they sue the television company for cutting them. They're saying they lost a lot of money due to his activities. We did have a shooting as we looked to Las Vegas. One person was shot. 2 others were injured after a gunman opened fire in a hotel room in Las Vegas. Some of the headlines this morning. We got a lot more to talk about. It's coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. I want you to come back and join us for what's happening in America. And we'll go a little bit deeper into our area about things that have gone on over the last 24 to 48 hours. We'll talk about all of that. That's coming up this morning. And we always love your input, your thoughts, what's going on in our community so we'll know. We've got your forecast coming up next. Stay close. We'll tell you all about what to expect and how to dress today. That's on the way with the Scotty Ray Report.
H&H Residential of Meridian is your #1 carpet and flooring store. If you've been thinking of a new look for your home or office, call for a free estimate or consultation. H&H can install or you can do it yourself. H&H has all of your design needs from color, style, and texture. If you can dream it, H&H can make it a reality. Come see the large selection of hardwood flooring, laminate, vinyl, and even carpet. H&H Residential of Meridian, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, 321 Hawkins Crossing Road. Call Rosemary anytime, 601-462-9541.
If you're getting ready to purchase land, make sure you have it surveyed. Contact our friends at the Woodlands Group. Maybe you're selling land, dividing land up. Whatever the case is, the Woodlands Group can help you there. They handle residential and commercial clients. And again, they specialize in property line location, site plans, and a whole lot more. Maybe you have a construction project, and they have the latest equipment to make sure it's done right, including drones. Call Justin Palmer or Brandon Briggs at the Woodlands Group, Surveying Solutions. 12 minutes before the hour if you've got to be somewhere by 7 this morning as we start our Friday and into the weekend. All is calm now. Let's certainly hope it remains that way as we go into this weekend. Denise Burnside, how are you? Dawn Harlan is up. Laura Lee, I see you. Christy Skipper is up, along with Laura Offlin. How are you doing? Did I say that right? I always stumble upon your name. I'm working on that. You're going to have to give me that, how to say it, to make sure I do it correctly. My apologies if I did say it wrong. LaWanda Grantham is up. Miss Freeman Miller, how are you? Glad you're there. Let's see. Lamar Hembry's up. Also, Clarence Westbrook. We got folks from all over, from Philadelphia. Charlotte Gray, good to see you there. Ralph, how are you today? Bob Falwell, hadn't seen you in a while, Bob. Hope you're feeling better. Hope you're feeling good too, my friend. All right, let's talk a little bit about weather as we glanced just a moment ago nationwide. Let's just check this as we look at this. If you're, for whatever reason, going to be in Kentucky, after they've also, throughout the state of Kentucky, been wet lately, we looked back to radar this morning. Louisville, Kentucky's got rain showers moving into it. Some pretty heavy stuff there as we watch this move from Tennessee toward Bowling Green. Traffic gets pretty heavy up in there. I'll be ready there. Frankfort, those areas of Kentucky there. Look at the fog that we've got up in these areas here. As we go up here, north up here, all the way into Missouri. Tons of fog this morning. Heat advisories all the way up Detroit. Getting a little bit of rain in that area this morning as we go across Nevada, Idaho, getting some rain. Back down toward Fresno, California. Some showers as well. Heavy showers down here that we watch here out from Galveston. It'll be affecting these areas around Beaumont and into Louisiana later today. Again, our area, as we start to think about what the weather is going to do, not too bad. Let's get deeper into the forecast now as we start today out at a nice 72. Not bad at all. Let's get into the forecast deeper with what the National Weather Service has to tell us.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As always, we'll start each day with reminding ourselves of what happened. It was 1897, 103, 98. It was 63 as we look at record highs and record lows. Now, this is where we go today of our temperatures. As we look at this, as you'll notice on the map today, they're showing not as much rain. It'll be over here in the southwest. Natchez, y'all will get more rain than anybody else. Slight chances through here, up through Philadelphia, 20% chance here. Not bad at all. Our high 93, and that will carry all the way up toward North Mississippi through Mississippi State and Columbus and those areas. A little cooler over at Vicksburg, about 91. Those areas there south, even 89 in Brookhaven. As we look at Bama, we'll get about 93 as well, right over in Livingston, Alabama. Warming up to 94 in Demopolis, Selma. You'll stay that way. And a little warmer over at Montgomery, 95 today. Always warmer down south as we head toward the coast as well. The outlook over the next few days as we see that we're kind of at normal right here in the state of Mississippi, Georgia, and Tennessee, these areas here. As we look back, we do have another heat wave coming. This is the worst that we've got. Possibly some little bit cooler weather there, a small pocket that may come across. Now, let's go ahead and jump here to our 7-day outlook and see what the National Weather Service tells us of what to expect. 20% chance today, 93. Now, the rain will move in at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. That afternoon shower there, the heat index again, 99. So not horrible. Tonight, you'll get down to about 72. Still a 20% chance of showers, and that should end by 8 p.m. Overall, pretty good. Tomorrow starts out not bad at all for a weekend. 30% chance of showers, and that will mainly fall in a 2-hour period. So if you've got something to do tomorrow that doesn't need to get wet, between 3 and 5 is when it might rain. High of 95 tomorrow. That heat index bumping to 100 tomorrow. As we roll into Sunday, a little bit bigger chance there as we head off to church, but it will hold off until you get out of church. About 2 o'clock is when we're expecting the rain on Sunday. 94 for the high. And again, 40% chance we'll get down to, let's see, on Sunday night to 73. As we start the work week, here we go again. Rain chances increase at 50% on Monday, 60%, and that will hold steady toward the end of the week, all the way through about Thursday there as we look at that. Let's go ahead and jump for that next week into August. So let's go all the way to the 19th. And again, our highs aren't that bad. 91, the highest that we're seeing on a 2-week outlook. Not bad, is it? But we do still have rain chances in some form every day. At least it's not just hot, no chance of rain. Thank heavens on that. Now, let's look at what's going on with the tropics. We expect this to be changing before long. There's somewhere between 14 to 20 storms that are going to be named this year. Forecasts are still saying that will happen. Now, this runs all the way to November. Our biggest chances are going to be August, September, that first part of October. So it's a lot of storms that have to start developing. Possibility, might start seeing something toward the end of next week developing. Not for sure yet, but right now, absolutely nothing happening in the Gulf or the Atlantic. But that's going to soon change, so y'all be ready as we get ready for this. And as always with this, I know that the Meridian area is far off the coast, but it can happen. We can be affected by that. If you've got a generator, make sure it runs. Check it. When you need it, you've got it. And if you live on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, always be prepared for this, even more so inland where I'm sitting this morning. Just be prepared. Doesn't hurt to have that extra plywood put to the side in a shed somewhere in case you have to cover windows. Almost becomes a routine down there, doesn't it? Let's look at the fishing forecast as we go to Chet's Paint and Body this morning. He tells us first major time happening here in just a few moments. Starts off at about 7 and will run till 9 a.m. today. Our second major time will be this afternoon, about 7:30 until dark. Light southeast wind becoming 5 to 10 with that wind if you're going to be out on the fishing hole somewhere today. So that's a brief look at weather, what we've got planned on this. Now we're getting ready for another show in an hour and roughly 5 minutes from now. We'll come back. We got a lot to discuss of things that's going on across the nation overnight. Trump's got a big smile this morning, as we'll find out more about his picks. He's 8 out of 10 so far, as they keep winning election after election. Mike Pence went up against him in Arizona, endorsed the opposite person. In the end, Trump prevailed in the election that happened on Tuesday. It was just announced as they'd done all the counting there. And it goes to show the establishment and the Republican parties, they pushed hard, and they're blowing hard on him of trying to get rid of him. But I think after the election this week, it has shown that he's still in charge, whether they want to admit it or not. Americans are listening to him as to who he endorses for these jobs. He has not announced that he will run for president. He may not. I think it's highly unlikely, but that's where it lies right now. Lots going on with that. There's a lot of folks that are upset over that as they continue pushing that January 6th issue. Anyway, we'll be back in an hour. We got a lot to talk about what's going on with politics. Joe Biden, where is he at? Nancy Pelosi. Boy, she sure got some things being stirred there in Taiwan, doesn't she? Let's hope nothing becomes of that. We're dealing with serious matters here. That and so much more. It all kicks off this morning, beginning at 8 o'clock. I hope you'll come back and join us. Ashley Rickles. I did point something out yesterday, and I didn't go into details on this. Meridian has a huge homeless problem, a big one, and it does increasingly get worse every day. We've got people now that jump out in front of ambulances. They're coming in on trains, getting worse. If you've looked at San Francisco, they're set up on the streets. And actually, no, it was not to make fun of anybody. It was just showing that we now have homeless moving to the downtown area, sleeping on benches, is what that was about. It's just increasingly gotten worse and worse and worse. Expect more with this. Behind the scenes, there's so many things that I don't report that happens of the stealing that goes on with this. It's constant shoplifting as this gets bigger and bigger and bigger and affects businesses in our area. And that was simply just to point out that it has moved toward the downtown area, sleeping on benches during the day, as it expands and gets worse and worse and worse. There was no harm meant on that. But I'm glad you asked me, Ashley. I appreciate that. But that's what that was about, just to show how that is expanding in our area. There's areas of town that, if y'all remember that movie, what was it, Airplane, where they go in and they just keep getting stopped more and more and more. People want money. There's areas of town that is done that way now. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. And we'll see you back in an hour as we'll get ready for the morning show to kick off. Thank y'all so much for joining us, and we'll see you then as we begin our weekend.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: